Alright. Can you record this, sir? Yeah.
No, let him do it.
Can one of you take responsibility and can you record this, please? We're in the same party, aren't we?
Alright.
There you go. Rashid.
1 2 1 2. Good afternoon. Can we get a little bit of order and a little bit of attention? Excuse me. Sorry to break up your party. Can we get some order and some attention? I'm just here to provide a little bit of context, to put a serious note for the pleasure folk. There's a meeting taking place with another meeting. I won't start till they stop. So control them. Yo! Wait for you. Alright, can we get a little bit of crowd participation? That's all, seriously. I feel like I come to a funeral. No, it's just people that have been on death row for 3 years, but it's not over till it's over. Come on now. Alright, so here we go. My name is Rashid Nix. First and foremost, I think we need to give a big round of applause, a big shout to the people who organised today, because it's a very symbolic day. That's the first thing we do. Acknowledge the organisers. With a round of applause, with a clap and a cheer, with a stamping of your feet. For those of you who don't know about this community of Brixton, Brixton is a very, very famous community. Brixton, that I know from my childhood, was a place where people had the opportunity to make a life for themselves. Whether or not you was on the hustle, if you was on the straight. I think the arch, it might be, oh gosh, I think it was this one here, was where Marks and Spencer opened their first London store over 100 years ago, which is why when Brixton went through recessions and riots, Marks and Spencer always stood by Brixton, because their first London store was right here on this stretch, in this arch behind us. That's Marks and Spencer. Big name brand store, started to go on this global domination conquest, launchpad Brixton. My dad, when he came to this country in 1961, settled on Somerleyton Road, Brixton. I lived Somerleyton Road for about 20 years. Brixton. My son, born, home birth, Somerleyton Road, Brixton. So we've seen this town go from recessions to riots. What do you say, Leroy? I see you, bro. Recessions, riots, and now the regeneration. And this is the most stressful battle that I've ever seen Brixton have to face. Because the recessions come and go, the riots come and go, but the regeneration just keeps on rolling. So to know that it's been 3 years since they put these guys on notice that they were taking these arches, this isn't any type of normal warfare. This is what you call siege warfare. This is when you're in it for the long haul, which is why when the first campaign started 3 years ago, just under 3 years ago, thousands of people came out into the street, reclaim Brixton, and everyone's run up and down. Who remembers even the prospective Labour MP, a lady called Helen Hayes, was on the street the day they had the big Reclaim Brixton demonstration, and she's walking up and down with a clipboard, taking notes and telling all the traders, I'm really touched by what's going on and I'm going to try and help you the best I can. And you thought, right, this is really making a move. And then it came out, I was contacted by a politician, a Conservative politician from Winchester, and he said, do the knowledge on your Labour candidate. I said, why is that? He said, you need to, this is a Conservative talking to a Green, okay? Politics is really strange like that, because you start making connections with people that you ordinarily wouldn't talk to. He said, do your knowledge on this lady. And then it came out that the Labour MP was actually the director of a property consultancy urban planning company. And her company had been given the contract by Lambeth Council to assist on the strategic master plan for Brixton. And one of the things that her company advised was, guess what? Regenerating the arches. That's the Labour MP. So all you Labour voters out there, and I'm looking across and I'm seeing Labour voters in the house, there's a few Greens, big up to the Greens, for keeping it real, for not taking that corporate shilling and having some integrity for the people. For all you Labour voters out there, who can't work out what's going on, you're being duped. You voted for Labour thinking that you was voting for the alternative to Conservatives, while in reality you was voting for the Conservatives in red suits. That's what you got. Do you hear what I'm saying? Your Labour MP was a director of a company called Eliza Morrison. Yo, I said I'm giving you context, don't give me no heckling. Don't give me no heckling. You're in Brixton now. I'm giving you some context. Because it's important that we have context. Just hold the corner. It's important that you have a context. Because in 12 weeks' time, guess what you got in Brixton? Across London, you have local elections. So if your local politicians are driving through policies that are dividing your community and destroying your community, you best know who it is you're voting for. Now, if I'm trying to put some context behind this, the least you should do is give me some respect and hear what I'm saying, rather than try and heckle me. But I realise that the truth hurts on some people. As Einstein said, if you do the same thing continuously and you expect a different result, it's called insanity. And to have some dude with dreadlocks from the Green Party pointing out how crazy you are because you voted for something, you ain't getting no change, it's a bit like that. So here we go. Here we go. 1,095 days ago, these people along here were given their eviction notices by Network Rail, a publicly owned body. The whole scam is that Network Rail are part of the government, bailed out. So you have bailed out government bodies pursuing private policies. In layman's terms, as a friend of mine who's an economist explained, it's what you call corporate fascism. When corporations start dictating government policy, it's called fascism. Fascism is not guys with skinheads wearing big boots marching down your street. That's the notion. In reality, it's when corporations write your policy. What you're seeing right here is corporate fascism, underwritten with our money. And this, thank you, brother. I'm glad somebody's listening. I'm not getting emotional at the truth.
Everyone's listening, mate.
No, it's cool, brother, it's cool. 2 years ago, we did a video down here called BDZ, the Brixton Dead Zone. So even though there were businesses along here that weren't tenants of Network Rail, they were suffering because these businesses had been driven out. That meant that the footfall had fallen, and you're on this side, and your takings were down by 75%. So on this side of the street, you've got independent traders who have been there for maybe 30 years, who aren't part of this, but they're suffering. And guess what? They went to the council gave them no help whatsoever. But the same council would give Pop Brixton hundreds of thousands of pounds, and you think, well, hold on a sec, there's two laws operating here. What is it that this little section here represents, that they're so fast to get rid of them, that this section here, they want to keep them?
Social cleansing.
Social cleansing.
Straight up.
That's a political decision. So when you start to me, don't talk about politics, you can't talk about social cleansing without talking about the political context which is operating in. The truth hurts, I understand that. And the #1 party for social cleansing in London is Labour. I'm going to stick it to you. It's Labour. 200 social housing estates in London at risk because of Labour councils. Not the Conservatives, not the far right, not the BNP, not the Green Party, Labour. That's why over in North London, the head of Haringey had to stand down, and she was given letters of support from Lambeth. And this is a lady who's trying to transfer billions of pounds of public assets into the private sector. What you're witnessing is the largest transfer. Yes, brother. What you're witnessing is the largest transfer of publicly owned assets into the private sector. So here we are, to finish with some context. 12 weeks to the elections. Who stands for the people of Brixton? Who do the people of Brixton vote for? Do they vote for anyone whatsoever? And now you're talking. Each other, yeah. Say that again, miss, I can't hear you. You're smearing his children around. Very, very classy of you. I like that. I like that. So anyway, I'm gonna continue. One of the main things that has come out of this is that people want to see a public inquiry as to how this whole crazy scenario could happen. As the Green candidate, I absolutely 100% support the inquiry, because there's so many questions that still need to be answered. Like, why Network Rail playing the fool guy? Network Rail have thousands of arches across London. Why are they so concerned with trying to evict these ones here? Who knows? An inquiry would shed light upon that. Why was the local MP's company given the contract to come up with a regeneration proposal? Now that's a bit of a deep one. We need to know about this stuff. And the final one, which will really pee you guys off. There was the Human Rights Commission, 2016, wrote that inequality and racism in London, in the UK, is growing at an alarming rate, post-Brexit. The people who own these businesses along here, primarily, this is the black, the BME, the ethnic minority business sector along here. And these are the people that are being driven out of business. These aren't benefit scroungers. These aren't people who come here for free medical attention. These are real capitalists who work, who pay rent, who pay their taxes, who provide goods and services to the local community. And if they're being driven out to make way for corporations, that's how corporate fascism works. And it's being driven through on a red bus called the Labour Party. So in 12 weeks' time, understand what it is you're voting for. Rashid Nix, I'm out of here. I said my piece. Too late, it's cool.
Cool. Make some noise for Rashid, please, family, because he made some very valid points there, I personally feel. Alright, cool, let's keep the energy going. We're going to wrap up very shortly. I'm going to say, Lambeth Council, save some face, stop this project, and I would love you beautiful people to say, keep us safe. Here we go. Lambeth Council, save some face, stop this project. Lambeth Council, save some face, stop this project. One more time, nice and loud to the whole of Brixton here. Lambeth Council, Network Rail, save some face, stop this project. Cool. I'm now going to welcome Melissa from the Stop HDV campaign. Please make some noise for Melissa.
Hi. As you said, I'm Melissa and I'm